Ready, we're preparing, and we are live. Yes.
Hey, good evening to all our viewers today. Welcome to Inspiring Indian Women's We Are the Power series. Once again, it's Friday, the 14th of June, and this is 5 p.m. in UK where we are going live. I am your host, Hema Kariyappa, and today's session is all about yoga, specifically Hatha Yoga, with the very beautiful, fit looking, and young Nayomi Davar with us. Welcome, Naomi, to the Inspiring Indian Women
Thank
series
you.
today. Right.
Thank you so much, Mo.
Thank you. We are looking forward to a very active but also an informative session today. But let me briefly introduce Naomi before we go about starting the session. So, Naomi hails from the land of yoga, which is India, Bharat Desh, and she has undergone intensive training for over 8 years with expert and renowned yoga gurus in India. She's quite a recent immigrant to UK, aren't you, as we were talking earlier, Naomi? She's been in the UK for 2 years, but you had a very thriving yoga practice back in Mumbai, my land, and
Yes.
as well as Rashmi's land, who's over here. So Mumbai brings back a lot of lovely memories. So that connection is there, Naomi, with Bombay
Yes.
and India. So, coming back to your introduction, you have extensive experience in teaching yoga workshops and wellness retreats across India and UK as well, which is brilliant. And your teaching philosophy is grounded in the belief that yoga is more than just a physical practice, it's a journey towards self discovery and inner peace. And so, your classes are therefore designed to challenge the body, calm the mind, and uplift the spirit, making yoga accessible and enjoyable for everyone. So, Naomi, we cannot stress enough the importance of yoga in the fast paced and changing world that we see now, where people are constantly addicted to their screens. But to be able to take their mind away from that and to focus on oneself, yoga is the best way to do that. So coming back to you, before we start with the postures and asanas that you want to showcase today and demonstrate, and which hopefully our audience will also follow along with her. Before that, the main question that I want to ask you is what got you into yoga? And give us the specifics of Hatha Yoga.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Hima, firstly, for the introduction. So happy to be here and to be live here in such a lovely foundation and the lovely work that you guys are doing. So, firstly, I was always introduced to yoga as a child. So, my father was into yoga when I was in India, and I would see him do headstand and things like that at the age of 50 and
Wow.
60. And I used to be like,
Wow.
wow. And I
Yeah.
used to come home. With study related stress and used to be slumping all the time. My posture used to be incorrect, and that's when dad used to tell me, like, correct your posture and things like that. And that's how he started sending me into a kids batch, a yoga class that I used to go for. But as a kid, I never really enjoyed it, but he used to keep pushing me towards those things. I remember when I was working in the corporate, so before being a yoga teacher, I used to work in hedge funds, which is an extremely fast paced environment.
Yes. And
um,
very stressful as well.
Yes, and extremely stressful. So at the age of 20 to 23, my first job, I used to come home feeling stressed, worried. I used to have aches and pains throughout my body. And I used to feel
And
like
that's
that
not, yeah, and that's not the kind of life
that's not the
a
time.
young person should be
Exactly.
leading. Yeah.
Absolutely. I would never get time to go out and just take care of myself. And that's when I realized if I continue this for a long time, it's not going to take me far in terms of my health. So that was a real wake up call. And I used to always be interested in yoga because I used to look at my father, and he'd gone through massive injuries, and the doctors told him that it's going to be really difficult for you to even get out of bed because he'd got a really severe car accident. And with slip disc and things like that. But
Oh, yeah.
through a younger yoga, more importantly, hatha
Mm,
yoga style, with a lot of props, in a sense,
mm.
he really cured himself, and touch wood, he's improved his health. So that's where I saw the powers of yoga, to be honest. And that's where I left my corporate job and went to study yoga full time for about 6 years in India, traveled around different places, and that's how the journey actually started.
And that's a very interesting journey. And that's a very brave step you took, because coming from Bombay, for someone to take a leap from corporate life to yoga, where you know that the pressures from parents would be more like, no, you need to have a proper job, a steady income. Whereas
Absolutely.
with yoga, you are starting off as an entrepreneur. You're never sure whether you're going to be able to make a decent living out of it. That's a very brave step.
Absolutely.
But kudos to your father. I think he's been an excellent role model to persist through the yoga practice, which can be um, quite strenuous for a recovering body. And I know that because I have actually taken up yoga so that I could rehabilitate after an ACL reconstruction on one of my knees. And if anything, my body has gotten stronger. So I
Yeah.
would completely endorse what
Yeah.
your father did. I wish there were more of role models like him who push children even at a very young age, because children, being the bubbly, energetic children that they are, yoga is not something that would naturally fit into their lifestyle. But
Absolutely.
as you grow older, to be able to have that exposure initially so that you could always come back to it is amazing. So I think
Absolutely.
that's a great story for you to get into yoga, and it's a very convincing story. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank
Tell me something. Tell me, before we start with Hatha Yoga, what is the specific discipline of Hatha Yoga? If you could
Yes,
give some
absolutely.
highlights on that.
Yes. So hatha, essentially, if you actually break the word out in Sanskrit, ha meaning the sun and tha meaning the moon. So in a sense, in simple terms, it is a practice that kind of balances the two energies within you to a certain extent. Now, hatha yoga particularly is one of the ancient practices of yoga in terms of a lot of importance is given on holding asanas. You hold asanas for a little longer, you breathe in the asana so that the posture doesn't just remain physical postures. It's similar to what we're going to actually try out today and give you an example, but we hold the asanas for a little longer so that your breath changes in the practice as well, so that you not just benefit out of the physical asana per se, but you're also benefiting in terms of the breath that changes, the change in the emotion, the way you feel, and that's how it's all connected. And that's why
The calmness
you
that
may have
comes in
heard
through holding the
exactly,
posture.
exactly.
Right.
So these are more traditional forms where you practice these things, different kind of practices, whether it's standing asanas, seated asanas, their inversions, their pranayams. So there's so many different things
Hmm.
that each and every one can gain out of the practice. So there's so much that Hatha Yoga offers to each and every person, whether you're a youngster who's starting off, who would want something more active, or someone in the mid-age which wants a bit of relaxation in the mind along with some physical movement, or someone older, for example, who can't really do things on the mat, but just wants to breathe when you're seated. So
Yeah.
there's so much that this practice has to offer.
Well, let's not let's stop talking and let's get into this activity. So, if you want
Yeah.
to, for my listeners, the next 20 minutes or so, we will have Naomi showing us some of the asanas, and I would request everyone to follow along with her. I will also try and follow along with you, Naomi. As I mentioned, I do have an ongoing the other leg injury, the other knee injury,
Yeah.
so I'm limited to what I can do. But I'm quite interested in following this. I am an Ashtanga yoga practitioner myself, which hasn't happened in the last 4 or 5 weeks since I sustained the injury. So I'm quite excited to learn this new form of
Amazing.
yoga. So take it away,
Amazing.
Naomi.
Yes, absolutely. So, firstly, for everyone who's joining in, because this is a class, one-off class, please listen to your body, see how far you can go. Feel free to use adaptation. So, if you feel like you're not able to do something, take breaks, adapt to some things. If any audience is joined here on or on Facebook, you can message for any information that you need, and I'm happy to provide you with those things. So, please listen to your body and just follow along. So, we're starting off with really basic things today. So we're going to be seated on our mat if possible. If you're on your chair or something, you can be seated, and we'll just cross our legs. So even if you're on a chair and you prefer to be there, just simple cross legs. Okay, sitting nice and tall. So one thing that we need to remember is that most of the time we're all slumping, shoulders are rolling forward and the chest is collapsed. So you really want to roll your shoulder back and sit nice and tall, keeping the shoulder back, neck relaxed. Now, these are prominent areas which we don't realize create stress within our body. So when your shoulder is drooping up, you're just tensing up the area of your face. So keep it nice and relaxed. And we're going to go for a simple side stretch. So you're taking your right hand and just placing it down on the floor or wherever you are. Just stretch your hand to the side. You're trying to get a nice stretch around that left side of your body. And you're taking your top hand and extending it to the right side as well. So you're going to stretch all the way to your right side. Now, just in case you don't have access to a floor or you can't sit on the floor, you can by all means do this on your chair. Just keep something on your side so you can extend your hand and just stretch. Now, one thing that we want to remember during our asana practice is to not hold our breath at any point. So make sure you're not tensing or holding your breath. We're just going to hold this for a few more seconds. Today, because we have limited time, we are not going to hold for that long, but just making sure we are not jumping from pose to pose. Lovely. Try and keep that top hand straight for everyone. Now, this is great when we're seated on our desk for a long time and you just want to stretch out this side of your back. So it just gives you a good stretch around that area. Lovely. And then we just inhale, come back to the center, and we just do the same on the other side. So same way, extending your hand to that left side. The top hand goes to the side as well. Just stretch. You can even just relax your head to the side. Just breathe. Lovely. Now, for those who are seated on the mat, what tends to happen is sometimes we lift this side knee. So sometimes you'll notice that your knee goes up. So what you want to do is slowly try and push your knee down. That will happen once your groins become more supple. So sometimes with stiffness of your groins, that may happen. Lovely. Now just inhale, returning back to the center. Wonderful. Now one more seated asana. For this one, you're just going to interlock your fingers in front of your chest. Just stretch the hands away and you're going to raise the hands up. Now, once you raise the hands up, try and keep those elbows straight. And you want to keep the hands going backwards. So I'm just going to show you a side view for those who are watching. Now, you want to make sure that you're trying to move the hands back and you're not leaning forward in this way. So try and keep yourself back. Trying and balancing those energies within us, because we don't realize that when we are slightly leaning forward, you are tending to go in your past. And some people, you'll notice that they lean too back. So you want to just find yourself in the center. Lovely. Stretch those hands up. Look straight ahead. Amazing. Now exhale, just bringing the hands back down. Just relax the hands. Lovely. Now, we're going to stand up for a few standing asanas. So we'll start off with the very basic Trikonasana. So for this one, if you have your mat, you can stand on your mat or just on the floor is absolutely fine. Once you're ready, you're going to have your feet joined and then you're going to be spreading your legs out to the side. So you'll keep a nice good distance between your legs. And from there, we turn the right leg out to the side. So you're just stretching your leg out to the side. Keeping that knee straight, you're extending your hands to the side, keeping them nice and tall. And then as you exhale, you're leaning to that right side. Extend. Lovely. So your hand, the bottom hand can go wherever you reach, absolutely fine. Now, if someone has any conditions like knee issues or some problem related to the legs, you can always keep your hand on a little more height, like a stool or a table, just in case you need that. Lovely. Now, this will give you an even further stretch in the back of your legs, the sides of your body, all of it. To a certain extent, your head is moving to the side, so it's great even after a long, tiring day. What you'll notice is a few minutes of these asanas, whether it's in the start of your day or the end of your day, will help you to such a huge extent when it comes to any physical pains that you have, something related to the mind, stress, whatever it is, slowly gets released. Lovely. Just a few more seconds. We'll hold, keeping that top hand straight. Trying and keeping that knee straight. Lovely. Now inhale slowly, moving the hands back to the side, just bringing our palms down. Wonderful. Just turning this leg in. And let's change. Just going to the other side. So same way, you're going to turn the opposite leg out to the side. Hands stretch to the side and exhale. Go all the way down. If you can hold on to your ankles, you can take the hand there. For those who've practiced this before and want to take this further, you can bring your hand down on the floor as well. But just make sure you're not bending your knee at the cost of taking the hands down. So even if your hands are all the way up, absolutely fine. But keep those legs straight so that this part, your inner thigh, the back of your legs can all stretch. Again, just throwing light back on the way Hima said, because of the way we sit or just our lifestyle in general, we never really move our body in these ways. So just take this time to really focus on yourself. Try and be conscious of every single part of your body. See where you feel that stretch. Because yoga is such a practice that it's not about what we do on the outside only, but more so about what it feels like on the inside. What do you feel in the body, in your mind? Lovely. Just few more seconds on this side. For others who are practicing by yourself, please feel free to come out at any time if you feel like it's getting too much. Listen to your body. Lovely. Now just inhale, getting yourself back. Lovely. Exhale, bring the hand down and just get your legs together. You can just have the feet joined. Lovely. Now from here, we are going into Uttanasana. Now this is a forward extension. Now I'm just going to show you a front view. Now your feet are going to be hip width apart. So as wide as your hips, your toes are pointing forward. And I'm just going to show you a side view from here. Now you're going to inhale, stretch your hands up. And as you exhale, you're going to lean forward and slowly bring your hands down. So wherever you can reach, extend, extend, extend. Keeping the legs straight, you're slowly going to bring your hands down and even drop your head down towards the floor. Now anyone, again, like I said, if it gets too much, you can have your hand extended like this on some support, like a wall or a table, for example. Otherwise, you can stretch all the way down into Uttanasana. Now, in a sense, the meaning of this asana is an intense stretch. Now, just notice where all you feel that intense stretching. Now, depending on your body, you may feel it around the back of your calves, the hamstrings, your lower back, the upper back, and even the back of your neck, for example, because you're dropping your head down. Now again, this asana is great for any time you feel fatigued after a long day, you're feeling stressed out, too much to do, a lot on your mind. This really helps you have that blood flow towards your head side, which is great at any point, even during your day, but make sure you don't do this right after a meal. Consciously relax the back of your neck. Take a few deep breaths. For those who are comfortable, you can always even close your eyes. Now, as you stay here for a little while, you'll notice that your hands tend to go a little further down towards the floor with time. So one of the benefits again of holding asanas is that after a while, your body naturally gets used to this asana, and with gravity, you're able to go down further. You're able to observe yourself, which is one of the most important things in the yoga practice. Lovely. Now we'll just bend both our knees. Slowly exhale. You're just going to move your hands away from the floor. Inhale. Just get yourself up. You're just going to stand back up. Just regain your breath. Breathe normally. Now, if anyone's done this for the first time, you may also feel a lot of blood flow in the head. So just in case that happens, just stay there for some time. Don't do a lot of movements if you're unsure. If you feel disoriented, any of that, just breathe normally. Okay? Lovely. We'll just continue from here. We're going to go for Veerbhadrasana 1, which is Warrior 1. For this asana, you're going to take your right leg forward and stretch the left leg back. So you're keeping one leg in front, you're keeping one leg back, and both your toes are pointing forward. From here, you're going to inhale, raise both your hands up. And as you exhale, you're going to bend the front. So exhale, bending that front knee, you're going to face forward, stretching both the hands up, with the thighs going down. Lovely. Keep breathing. Nice. Now ensure that your back leg foot is also pressing well on the floor. Keep looking in front. Now trying to imbibe all the qualities of a warrior. So firmness in the legs, firmness in the back, hands stretched out, with breath normal, not holding your breath at any point. Now, those who are comfortable, your hands above the head, you can even join the palms over your head. Now, keep holding, few more seconds. Push yourself, try and go further down. Now exhale, just straighten the knee, bring your hands down. Wonderful. Now you're going to take that leg that's at the back in front, get both your legs together, and then we'll just switch, taking the other leg back now. So just taking the opposite leg back. Lovely. Now inhale, stretch those hands up, and exhale, bend that front leg. Like we said, both the legs firm, especially that back leg, press it well on the floor. Remembering that the back knee is straight, only the front leg is bending. Your hands are stretched up. Feel that stretch even around the sides of the waist and the back. Wonderful. Now you can join your palms above your head. Last few seconds. Now exhale, just bringing your hand down. Lovely. Just taking a step forward with your back leg. Just giving yourself a little break before we just end with our last standing asana for today. So there are a lot of asanas, Hima, in Hatha Yoga. So there are different ranges of asanas. So what we are trying to touch upon is a few standing poses. Then you have a lot of twisting asanas, a lot of different asanas in our Hatha Yoga practice, but just trying to throw some light on, the different kinds of asanas that we have here. Yeah, perfect. So one more asana, we're going to go for Adho Mukha Svanasana, also called downward facing dog. Now, you can start this asana, I would suggest today, by just kneeling down if possible. So you're going to go down on the floor. You're going to stretch your hands in front. Your palms are going to be a little away. You're taking your legs back and then lifting your knees up. You're getting yourself into Adho Mukha Svanasana. So this is unlike a plank where a lot of people, the way they make a mistake is by pushing their hips forwards. It almost becomes like a plank position. But what you want to remember is press your hands well and slowly lift your hips up. Try and take your hips up so you're making something like a little triangle with your body if you actually go to see. And then you drop your head down. Okay, we're just going to hold this for a few seconds. Now here it's important for us to remember to press your palms and your feet equally. So make sure you're not just putting a lot of weight on your hand side, but you're also pressing your feet well. Keep breathing, relax your head down. Now this asana, Adho Mukha Svanasana, is a great start or a preparation to your inversion practice. So where your head is down, your upper body is higher. Now if you notice the positioning of the body here, again, that blood and that oxygen is moving towards the head side. The back of the legs, any stiffness in the calves, the legs get stretched out as you push the heels down. Just a few more seconds. Now just bend your knees, just taking yourself down again. Just take your hands back. Wonderful. And now you'll just sit in either Vajrasana. So this is Vajrasana where you sit on your heels, or you can join your feet into Baddha Konasana. So the way people feel comfortable. Now, if you have any knee issues, you shouldn't ideally sit in that asana today itself directly. You could just join your feet and sit in Baddha Konasana. So your feet are joined and your knees are moving out to the side. And from here, we're going for a twist. So all you'll do is you're taking your opposite hand over your opposite leg, other hand at the back, and you're just turning yourself to the side into a gentle twist. So again, feel free to do it on your chair. It's a great thing to do even when you're working on your desk for a long time. You can just be seated in any position and just turn yourself to the side. Just taking your hand on the knee, other hand just on your chair if you're seated there, and just turn your body to the side, and especially try and work on your upper back. Try and twist that area of the back, turn. Now, if you look at a lot of people who have jobs entailing them to be seated on their desk for a long time, their upper back tends to be round and out of their body. Now, through these practices, try and move that upper back in, try and turn. You can move your head to look back. Now just inhale, return to the center, and let's change. Just going on to the other side. Now, when you're practicing this by yourself, feel free to hold this for longer. You should ideally hold this for a little longer if possible. Just because we're trying to throw light on all different aspects of our yoga practice. We're moving a little faster today. Again, in this twist, remember, don't hold your breath. Try and turn the entire body. Now, if you go to see, yoga is one such practice that helps you even go through or to a certain extent provide remedy to certain injuries, for example. Now, this is a great asana even for the health of your spine, because the spine is constantly taking load with different positions of the body that we go through in our daily lives. Just a few more seconds before we come out. Now just inhale, returning yourself back to the center. Wonderful. Now just crossing your legs normally. Now we are moving to our pranayama practice, which is also commonly called breath work. Now I'm just going to come closer so that you can watch me carefully. Now again, you can sit the way you're comfortable. Just for a few minutes, what we're going to do is a variation of the Nadi Shodhan Pranayam. So you're just going to curl these two fingers. So your middle finger and your index finger are going to be curled in. Ideally, use your right hand for this. Now you're using your ring finger and your thumb to alternate your nostrils. So what you're going to do for today is you're just going to breathe in from your left side and you're breathing out through your right side. Okay, so I'll just show you how you do this. So you're going to first take your thumb, place it around your right nostril, and you'll start inhaling from your left side. So you'll inhale slowly and gradually all the way up from your left. And then you close the left nostril and open out your right nostril to exhale from that side. Lovely. And then you close the right nostril, open out the left nostril, breathe in again. Lovely. Close and exhale out. Wonderful. Now you can close your eyes. You don't have to watch anything. Close your eyes. Inhale from the left side. Nice deep breath in. Close. Exhale from the right side. Continue that same way just for a minute. Inhale from the left. Exhale from the right side. Now, especially when the weather is changing, no matter where you are, whether you are in the UK, India, whichever part of the world you're in, when there's a transition in weather, there is a drop in our immunity, there's a drop in the way things work. For example, when you're in UK, again, hay fever, things like this are so common. Now, when you do these pranayams, they're extremely beneficial for you. Just try and take those deeper breaths. Try and focus on your breath when you're going for these pranayams. For a few more seconds, if you're comfortable, continue this. And once you finish that last exhalation on that side, you're just going to keep your eyes closed and just bring your hands down on your thighs. Just close your eyes for a few moments and just focus on your breath. So just pay attention to the way you're inhaling and exhaling, moving your mind away from any thoughts, any distractions around you, and just taking this time to just be with yourself, connect with yourself on a deeper level. Give yourself the time to slow down. Trying to breathe consciously just through the nose. Long, deep breaths. Now just taking both your hands and just placing them around your abdomen. Just focusing on the movement of the abdomen as you breathe in and breathe out. Just being in that present moment. Now just taking your time, and whenever you feel ready, gently open your eyes. Just ending our practice with this today. Hima, sorry, we can't hear you. You're on
Oh,
mute.
I just realized. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That was very relaxing, very active in the first few asanas when we were doing the
Yes.
standing and seated asanas. But the pranayama it just brings you back and it centers you, doesn't it? And I think that was a wonderful way to end the week. I'm sure it must have been quite a hectic week for everyone. I'm not the outlier here, and we all feel ready to tackle the weekend with this. Um, Thank you for that introduction into Hatha Yoga. I have a few questions, which would be how long does a Hatha Yoga session last if someone were to do a class with you?
Yes, so ideally for me, we usually take a 1 hour long
Yeah.
class when it's a regular day-to-day class. Uh, but I do sessions which last up to 3 hours as well. So these are intensive workshops that I run in London,
Mm-hmm.
which lasts for about 3 hours as well. But that is, of course, a combination of different aspects of yoga and all of that as well.
And I understand that you also do retreats. So where about in UK do you do retreats? Do you have any upcoming retreats that you would want to advertise that people can look forward to attending? Would those retreats be for beginners, intermediates, experts? Give us more information.
So what these retreats essentially are is we escape in the midst of nature. So we book
Ah,
out a space in nature. We do practices outdoor as well as indoor in a beautiful setup, which is extremely oriented to the yoga principles. So
yeah.
whenever I try to book a workshop, it's always vegetarian food. It's in the midst of nature, so we can be in the midst of nature doing silent meditations, for example, pranayams in nature and asanas. I always talk a lot about philosophies of yoga, how you can apply the ancient aspects of yoga in your day to day life to combat with stress, anxiety, all these different things that we go through the 3 days that we go for in our retreat. We try and do all these different aspects. So it gives you a perfect way to just escape and come back refreshed. So we have one coming up next month in July in Gloucestershire, where we book the entire retreat space just for our retreat, so that when we have downtime, things like that, people have their space to unwind, just have it by themselves. And another one in September in this place called Vedanta, which is again a beautiful property in itself. So these are the
Where is
two.
Vedanta?
So it is in Lincoln. So it's about a
Ah, right.
3 hour drive, 4 hour drive from London. So these are the two upcoming retreats that we've planned for now.
Amazing. And I'm sure that my our audiences would like to get in touch with you. So anyone who would like to get in touch, please contact Rashmi on Inspiring Indian Women to learn more about Naomi's classes. Are your classes all in person? Do you also do online sessions for people who are remote and who can't
Yes.
get to London?
Absolutely. So we do a lot of online classes, which work great for people based in UK. Also in India, we have a different class for India timings because again, I used to be based in India and I
Of
still have
course, yeah.
students who want to
Yeah,
study.
you've got
Yes,
your
absolutely.
clientele there. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then we
So,
have people around the
yeah,
world as well that
yeah.
want to do one-to-one
Mm,
classes. So we
mm.
offer classes in London, online classes, retreats, workshops, a lot of different things that we do.
Who are your Hatha Yoga gurus in India?
So my gurus have always been a younger yoga teachers and
Mm,
practitioners. So
right.
they've been people like Zubin. So I don't know if you've heard of them. They're really prominent teachers in
Mm,
India and
mm,
various teachers, even in the UK, for example, who've studied intensively
yeah,
in traditional forms,
yeah,
honestly, in India, and they've gone through intensive practices, and they're such inspiring teachers to just
mm.
study under. And with the dilution of yoga, I feel like, being under the light of such teachers is always so meaningful and beautiful.
Yes, yeah. It kind of centers you back to the
Yes,
original pure form of yoga. And you've touched upon a
absolutely.
topic that I wanted to discuss before we conclude for the day. What do you think, and what's your opinion of all the different types of yoga that is suddenly surfaced? You've got people who just do 200 hours of training and then they become yoga
Yes,
teachers. You've got hot yoga, you've got power yoga. Where did all of
yes,
this come from? What are the traditional schools of yoga that
yes,
students should look forward to? Earlier, I said
yes,
clientele, which is not the right word.
yes. 100%. And this is a topic that, I'm extremely passionate about to a certain extent, especially when I've come here to the UK. And to be extremely honest with the popularity of yoga, even in India, sadly, like you correctly said, anyone can become a teacher tomorrow. If you have no idea about yoga, you can go and become a teacher in 200 hours and you can start teaching anywhere in the world, which is so sad. I think. Just like any other form of education, you need a preliminary learning about that subject, because like I said, there's so much into studying yoga. There's physiology, you're working with your mind, you're working with your body. There's so many different things. You literally are a certain level of a doctor within you, so you can't become a
Yes. No.
master of a subject in 200 hours.
Yeah.
Honestly, big yoga gurus like BK Sarangar and so many more
They're
renowned yoga
forever
teachers.
learning, isn't it? They're not
Yeah,
just teaching.
exactly. Exactly.
They're also continuous to practice. So they have their own practice session early in
Absolutely.
the mornings. I know that they get up at
Exactly.
2 or 3 a.m., practice for 2 hours
Absolutely.
before they start teaching, and they're doing this for
Exactly.
decades.
Absolutely. And they still say there's so much to learn. So who are you and
Yes.
me,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
become
Yeah.
teachers in 200 hours with all due respect. So I am absolutely against, these certifications that just make anyone a teacher in 200 hours. You're actually responsible for the person you are teaching on the
Yeah,
other side.
yeah.
So there's a lot of
Especially their
responsibility that comes.
physiology. Yes, especially the
Absolutely.
physiology. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So,
And hot yoga, power yoga, do it
yes,
whichever way you want it.
yes,
I think there was a beer yoga as well that I saw somewhere.
yes,
That must have
exactly.
been, of course, I'm sure that wasn't serious.
Yes.
But Naomi, thank you so much for your session. It
Thank
was really wonderful, and I'm glad I interviewed and hosted the session because I needed that last, I think, winding down and stretching and just calming myself.
you.
So it was really wonderful. And as I said, who wouldn't come to such a beautiful, fit-looking yoga teacher?
Thank you so much, Hima. It was
So
honestly so wonderful to connect with you.
yes. Oh no, equally so wonderful to connect. And I think between the three of us, Rashmi, you and me, we have the Bombay connection as well. So yeah, Bombay rules, I think. And but yeah, no, as I said, we wish you all the best. I hope your yoga journey only flourishes in UK
Thank,
and in India. And I hope you have a lot more students sign up, and that way
thank you.
you improve everyone else's lives, whoever you touch. Thank you so much, Naomi.
Thank you so much, Hima.
Yeah.
Honestly, thank you everyone for joining in. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah.
And please continue this practice of yoga.
Absolutely. Yes. Rashmi, you want to close the session?
Yeah, I just want to say that it was lovely watching the two powerful ladies here, smiling, bubbling, happy. So much of
Three
inspiration out.
powerful ladies, Rashmi.
I'm like, you both are so smiling, always continue with so much positivity. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Naomi, for being part of
Thank
our journey of yoga enlightenment with everybody. And yes, we want to tell the viewers that Naomi is also doing yoga for IIW. Naomi, can you just quickly say the date and the time and the
Yes.
venue?
Absolutely. So we are doing a session especially for all you women. So we are doing this on World Yoga Day on 21st
Ah,
of June in Kew Richmond. So it's in London, and it's at 6:30 in the evening. So it's a 1 hour long session, 6:30 to 7:30. So feel free to share it with anyone you know who is in London, anyone who'd like to come for the session. It's going to be open to everyone, free of cost. We want everyone to learn. So register. You can contact Rashmi ji and she'll pass on the number for registrations. And all you have to do is register and turn up.
And such a
yeah.
beautiful venue, too.
Yeah.
Very
Good luck for weather. I just
fabulous.
took the weather.
Indoors. She's just taken, booked a
Oh,
seat.
is it indoors? Okay, that's
It's
good.
indoors, so you don't have to worry about, yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
okay, brilliant. I should have, yeah, I don't know why I didn't think about International Yoga Day. It's coming up very soon, isn't it? Is
Yes.
it just next week? Yeah, yeah,
yes.
next
And
week.
Hema, as usual, you are one of the best hosts we have. And of course, some other time I would like to introduce you. You're multi talented. You're an engineer. You are into yoga. You're into adventure. You are into so many things. Do Naomi do follow her Facebook? She's in deep all over the
Absolutely. I'd
place.
love to connect.
Yeah. So
Thank you for the pitch. For my audiences, I did not tell Rashmi to mention that.
no, of course not. Just quickly for tomorrow, what we
Yeah.
have Ekta Modi, who is an artist actually. She's going to talk about well-being through art, using creative energy for finding inner balance, and that would be at 4 p.m. UK time, 8:30 p.m. Indian time, and the title of the show is IIW with Story Beyond Lines. So with that, we end this show. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Have a great
Thank
weekend, everyone.
you.
Great
Bye bye.
weekend.
Bye.